A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
An empty plastic bottle would give you 50 cents. A soda can, 60 cents. A used food container, 80. Wondering why I know this? Because that's my job. I am a trash picker at my school.
Harry, the trash prince is on a roll today. And how is your trashy affair with Bella coming? She lets you kiss her with that stink?
Their words don't bother me. They don't know why I do what I do. And my secret. I edge close to my class when I hear Bella and her friend talking.
You can't be serious, Bella. You want me to break up with him for you?
I would do it myself if his poverty didn't give me the creeps.
You are unbelievable.
I come face to face with Bella's friend. She knew I heard the conversation and couldn't meet my eyes. She hands me the new phone I bought for Bella and walks away. I saved for months to buy her this phone. I walk down the empty corridor with a heavy heart, pick the phone out of the box, slip my SIM in, and switch it on. When... Harry Parker, you have passed the poverty test? You are now the heir to Parker family's billions worth of assets?
If Harry is a billionaire, why does he work as a trash picker? What is his big secret? Why did he not reveal his billionaire status to Bella? To know more, listen to the audio series Destiny Reloaded, only on Pocket FM.
Presentation. All of the greatest action of the truck series here on Turn 200. It's right here on Thursday nights. It's back, and it's all of the 2024 calendar year pretty much from now until November. Make plans to be here with the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. It is the 2024 points-paying season opener here at the World Center of Racing. Welcome in, everybody, to a brand new season here on Turn 200. It's Tommy Cook alongside Matt Williamson. Matt, it's time to get racing here at Daytona.
It sure is, partner. We got Daytona dual racing in real life. We got the Max V CNC Home Designs here at Daytona tonight as well. Lots of great stuff going on in the racing world, and we are about to get after it here in the virtual sim.
Absolutely. We are going to talk to the driver that happened to win here last season. Won 2 races last season, did them both in pretty dramatic fashion. Greg Mall is up in booth 200 with us. You got a copy?
I got you, Tommy. How are you guys?
Oh, we are doing fantastic. We are ready to go racing here. I'm sure everybody's been itching to get after it here for a number of months. We're back to the track that you won at last season in dramatic fashion, tied for the third closest finish in channel history at 4/1000ths of a second. What are the steps you need to take to get yourself back to the front of the field at the end of this one?
Just got to figure out a way to log the laps and put ourselves in contention to be up there and in a spot to close it out tonight. Decent turnout tonight's definitely going to be, I don't know, the truck's definitely feeling interesting in the draft. Definitely feels a little bit more unstable than it has in the past. So kind of curious to see how tires might play a factor in this race. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't really done too much looking into that otherwise, but yeah, I think tonight's going to be a good show, and hopefully we can start off the 2024 season off with a bang here. So,
all righty, partner. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the thumbnail as well. Greatly appreciate it, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again at the end of this one.
Appreciate you guys.
So that was multi-time winner Greg Malm joining us in booth 200 here ahead of qualifying. Only a couple of changes from the 2023 season to the 2024 season. And mainly pretty menial stuff. One thing that changed is every track had 3 laps of qualifying last year. That has been moved down to the more traditional 2, which is disappointing because 3-lap qualifying was a big hit for me, at least. But outside of that, the only other change, 4 sets of tires at every track. You just heard Greg say maybe tire wear is going to be something to keep your eye on here after the oval refresh. New stock setups for the trucks. A lot of different varying factors from the last time we were here at Daytona to tonight's event.
Yeah, certainly a lot of things have changed since the closing of the Maximum Velocity return season just one season ago. Now the CNC Home Designs Truck Series. A lot of things have changed in the sim from when they ended to where we are now. Not only, like you said, with the oval refresh, things changing with how the tires react to different racing surfaces. They've done a lot of work with new setups, some good, some not so good in my humble opinion. So, lots of things to keep our eyes on here.
Absolutely. About a minute left to go in qualifying. Most everybody has been out on track or has elected to skip qualifying altogether. Right now, it is the driver that came up 4/1000ths of a second short here last time out at Daytona, Justin Michael, with provisional pole over newcomer Charles Grant Jr. in truck number 52. A lot of familiar names in the field from last season to this season. A few drivers that were not even in the field last week for the practice race at Chicagoland that are making their true debut on Turn 200 and with the Max V Truck Series here tonight at Daytona. All in all, I believe we are at 29 entries. I think a couple of drivers, not naming any names, but will not be racing the entire event. Some of them are in hotels. Some of them are on some interesting equipment. Not Guitar Hero guitars or anything, but, suboptimal, to say the least. But that won't stop some of the drivers from getting after it here tonight. And hello, Shelly Mall, hanging out with us already. Hello to everybody that's hanging out with us here tonight as we get ready to kick off the first season of the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. It is the 2024 season after the revival last season. It's time to get back after it in Max V Truck Series competition. And Justin Michael, we mentioned, runner-up here at Daytona last season, but 3 times a winner in his quest to get to the top spot in the point standings here this season, looking for 3+ wins in a full 36 race schedule. Charles Grant will line up on the outside pole, one of the drivers making their debut. Rod Minton and Will Kurt, 2 of the more lauded super speedway racers here on row number 2. Then it is your reigning and defending series champion Andrew Schulte starting in 5th. And you can't talk about super speedway thrillers without talking about good old Wally Terheimer. Wally's back. He will line up P6. Noah Rainwater was awfully quick in the draft. In practice, he will line up in 7th. Rob Haynes led a lot of laps last week at Chicagoland. Rob lines up P8. Last week's winner, Heath Smith, will line up in 9th. And Matt Montebalt. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Matt, you'll have to let me know after the race how badly I just butchered that. But Matt will start in 10th. Brad Slagle and Michael Milfelt Jr. on row number 6. Wesley Whitfield and Charlie Widener on row 7. Christopher Howell's back in 15th. Doug Heveron in 16th. Johnny Hamby and Matt Rodolasso 17th and 18th. Chris Boyles, Ryan McRoberts, the top 20. The rest of your 29 starters will scroll on by as Matt Williamson. The show is back, and it is going to be as exciting as ever if the things that Greg Maul were talking about in the opening live up to the hype.
Yeah, I mean, we have lots of returning drivers, some new drivers in the mix as well that we've already seen really great stuff from in the practice race last week at Chicagoland. So lots of good things coming our way. 72 degrees is the track temperature right now, so things very cool. Will be very grippy for the drivers to get right on after it. We do have about 70% fuel capacity. We're thinking probably around 23, 24 laps, somewhere around there, but that's kind of a rough estimate. We'll see how long they can stretch it once they get into the draft and start being able to save fuel as much as these drivers would like to. No fast repairs here tonight. Tommy, you mentioned we're now getting 4 tires on all tracks, so they have plenty of tires to work with if they so choose to use them. Probably only going to be using them if cautions do fly, but we'll see how it develops here throughout the race.
If cautions fly at Daytona, are they known to fly here?
I think once or twice a caution has been thrown. That's just a guess, though.
In this race last season, there were 5 cautions, 20 lead changes, and the race length has been upped from 65 laps to 80 laps. So take that 5 cautions and 20 lead changes among 13 leaders and amplify it just that much more with 15 extra laps to get after it tonight.
Well, if you're watching the second NASCAR duel at home as well, you just saw a massive crash in that duel, and that's something that we are used to seeing here in the sim as well. But these drivers here, they know how to get after it very hard, but also know how to give each other room, save the trucks, and not junk them early. So looking for good stuff here from the drivers of the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series.
This is our highest strength of field group on turn 200. These are a bunch of rowdy drivers and a bunch of good drivers as well. And they are itching to get after it here with a full season ahead of them, mirroring the NASCAR Cup schedule nearly to a T. Justin Michael and Charles Grant, the first front row of the season, and the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series is underway in 2024. Big check up there on the outside. I think that was Michael Milfeld Jr. I think he maybe missed a shift. But it stacks up the outside line from about 10th on back. And everybody in front of him and around him picking up the pieces here. Drivers, I think, picked up some damage there on that opening skirmish, and I think Bill Paradise is going to come down pit road. As a result, lap 1 in the books, and it goes to Charles Grant, who's going to clear down and move to the bottom. That'll put Will Kirk in control on the outside line, and we are back here.
Yeah, outside of that top 10, the herd is spread pretty thin after that those initial incidents on the start. Drivers starting to get into it, also trying to figure out if they want to get back into it right now. Some of them probably thinking about trying to save the wear on the truck if an incident occurs in front of them.
Like you said, no fast repairs. Things happen here in a hurry, even with a bit of space through the field. as always at the start of a new season, a lot of new wraps on these trucks. Trying to figure out who is who and throw the new drivers in the mix. That always complicates things a little bit. One driver that is up at the front of the field right now is Rod Mitten, who ran very well in last season's season opener at Atlanta. Ended up on the podium out of that.
And some of the newcomers running up front in the top 10 right now. Whitfield.
Montalball.
Montalball.
Yep, we're going with it, and
All
you'll
right.
have to tell me if that's wrong.
And is Charles Grant a new driver or just one that we haven't seen much?
Oh, boy, that was nearly door-to-door contact and big wiggles here on the top side. Yes, I believe a fully new driver to the series, unless I'm mistaken.
Well,
We did
Grant,
have some 55 drivers in 2023 competition, but I don't believe he was one of them. He may have been in the Snowball Derby.
well, he's getting pushed by Justin Michael right now. Michael giving him great pushes.
Andrew Schulte, the series champion, in all by himself in the pits.
That's interesting. Wondering what's going on there.
Maybe a fuel strategy sort of thing. Maybe he doesn't like what he sees in front of him. But either way,
You're putting yourself well behind the 8 ball coming by yourself. So I would imagine there's got to be some sort of a problem.
so Schultz is sitting in the pits still. I don't see that he picked up a black flag, so maybe something to tend to outside of the sim. Real life should always take precedence even for the championship contenders. There are a few drivers that are not quite with the rest of the pack here. Kerry Cleaver, Michael Van, Greg Mall is one of them, out back with Matt Burkhart. And James Lehman is scattered to the winds as well. And Schultz is still on pit road, so something going on there. Hopefully everything is okay, and we can get him a couple of wave rounds under the first couple of cautions. Regardless, it's Charles Grant at the front of the bunch here. Michael, Kirk, Mitten, and Terheimer, the top 5.
These folks right up at the front are staying very tightly grouped together, not giving each other much room at all.
There's a big move for Justin Michael, and that is pretty tight and loose at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy.
Kirk just about got into the right rear corner of Michael, almost spun him right across the entire field, but able to corral it and keep on moving.
Well, Greg Mull said it in the opening. These trucks look awfully dancy, and that was pretty dancy.
Certainly was dancing. Got some lap traffic coming up.
It's Paradise, I believe. You got to stick to the top side.
Looks like Paradise has some sort of damage maybe to the front of that truck, so must have been involved in a very early accident.
Well, I think he got caught out by that top line stack up as Matt Burkhart going to enter the pits from well out of the draft.
So you got the big group, mostly everybody together here, being led by Justin Michael, who's now being pushed by Grant. Roles have reversed as far as that goes, but we have these 3 running all by their lonesome here in the back. That's Cleaver, Michael Van, and Greg Mall is a part of this as well. They don't want any part of that top group. And you mentioned it, Tommy. Mall talked about how loose and unstable this setup specifically is, and he's decided he wants no part of this pack right now when there are some unknown variables going on.
I was going to say, everybody in this field is a well and capable driver, but we've seen some pushing get a little bit out of hand already, and nearly again. I mean, we are inches apart here. These trucks don't seem to want to handle.
Turheimer pushing the daylights out of Will Kirk, and Kirk just about got down into the race leader right now.
I mean, if this happens at the front of the field, I don't know who's getting through this. It could be a short race or a long, very thin fielded race. You ever see a sim race be abandoned before due to a lack of participants? 10 laps in.
We'd have to get rid of a lot of drivers for everybody to leave this one.
I mean, it happens at the right point of the track here, and it's going to get ugly. I like how it's not even if anymore, it is when it happens here. Sometime soon. These pushes have gotten pretty wild.
You got these folks up here in the top lane really trying to push to get out in front of the bottom, but really haven't been able to pull out in front. Now Kirk has a nose out. They've had to work for a long time to get there, and Kirk immediately drops down in front of Michael to take the lead.
So that will clear up Wally Turheimer here on the outside, as Will Kirk will drop down. So it's a battle of our two most fan-supported drivers, at least from last season, Turheimer and Kirk, leading the lines.
Whoa. Kirk a little bit underneath that yellow line. Looked like Michael just about gave him a push off center that could have ended abruptly for just about everybody.
Bit of shuffling on the top side behind Turheimer.
Newcomers to the series still in the mix. Here comes Wesley Whitfield and Matt Montembault, both bringing themselves into the top 7 here, along with Grant, who was already there. So new folks to the series looking to make a name for themselves pretty quickly here.
More close calls behind them. I think it was Whitfield. Shot the nose of rainwater behind him.
For those curious how far back those 3 that are running behind the pack have fallen, they're now 21 seconds behind the pack. Lap times are about 48 seconds, so not quite halfway distance-wise around the track away from the leaders right now, but inching towards it. And Will Kirk has had enough.
Will Kirk just said over the radio he has to leave.
Oh. Wow.
So,
that is not a place you want to leave from. Fights to get to the lead and then just has to leave the race.
So extenuating circumstances here have taken several drivers out of this race already.
Wow.
There's one more coming to pit road. Unless that was him.
No, that's Robert Gray as well.
Robert Gray. Gray had fought his way into the top 10, at least briefly.
I hope Gray's not thinking that Kirk's coming from a strategy call and thinking he's going to have a dance partner.
No, Gray left as well. Okay.
Wow, okay.
Strange beginning to this race here, if there ever was one. Oh, by the way, Matt, we were supposed to pick a starting or a finishing position for Lehman's Mega Money Mania. And we did not confer before the race. So, again, I'm going to put the ball in your court, and we can't announce it until after the race anyway.
I already have a number in mind. It is based off of a number for something that's happened with the Daytona Speed Weeks in real life. If you can figure it out, that's all the more hint you're going to get. So.
And also an anonymous benefactor has donated quite a bit of money to ensure that the winner of every race this season is walking away with something. So $10 to the winner tonight. wherever you are. Thank you very much. Oh, Terheimer touches. No, rainwater there.
Yeah,
Woo!
got very close to turning rainwater across the track. Keeps it going straight. Trying to push Rod Mitten right now. Grant up to the top side. Is he going to move down? Yes.
Yeah.
Him and Mitten will move down together.
So 19 drivers in this lead pack, 23 drivers still running out of the 29 that started this race. So many drivers have started this race without incident, are already done.
Yeah, hopefully, hopefully nothing too bad is going on, for those drivers. Hopefully everything's okay. But, yeah, unfortunate to lose quite a few early on here.
Lap 17 on the board. Charles Grant Jr. has been in the lead or around the lead for every single lap after starting on the outside pole. Pole sitter Justin Michael still hanging up here, pushing Grant. Here's a big shot up to Rod Mitten. They're not going to have enough to get clear. Help from his teammate, no rainwater.
And as we keep moving on, inching closer to potential green flag pit stops here. Pit stops so crucial.
Well, the good news for anybody that was joining us on Tuesday night from Atlanta for the Venom Truck Series, pit stops here are a little bit easier than they are in Atlanta. Not a lot with this setup, but enough.
I would say much easier than Atlanta for sure.
That doesn't make them easy.
No, does not make them easy whatsoever. I mean, you have to be able to get in there at a pretty good rate. Obviously, not speed, and you don't want to lock your tires up to get across the line at the correct speed either, as there's look like maybe a bit of contact between Michael and Mitten there, as Mitten's trying to fight his way up towards the front. There is Matt Burkhart, who is at least one lap down. I think multiple right now.
He is 6 laps down. But he's back on the track. Andrew Schulte is also back on the track. Schulte 2 laps down, leading the second pack right now.
But obviously for these drivers, they know how crucial the pit stops are, but sometimes as a viewer, it's hard to understand just how much time you can lose and just a small hiccup getting to pit road or getting off of pit road. It can ruin your race. So they are very, very important to get those right here.
Especially if it would end up going caution-free. A blip on pit road is going to take you out of the race for sure. Driver down nearly onto the apron. It was Michael Milfelt, and he was on the apron, but isn't going to get too out of shape over it. Lance Ackerson back in the chat for the first time in 2024. Welcome back, Lance. Cheering on Wally right now, who's on the outside of the third row here. From the head-on perspective, you can see just how much these drivers are juking and jiving, even on the straights here.
Yeah, when we go to that really nice camera we have from the front of the field, you can see the little, they seem like little moments when you're zoomed out, but they are big moments when you're right there with them. Those seemingly little moments is what turns a calm race into an absolutely chaotic race in a split second. They've been able to avoid that for right now.
Top line with a bit of turbulence right now. That has allowed Johnny Hamby and John Pansola to get up into the mix here. And pit stops, I would imagine, imminent, right? Closing in on the fuel window that we sort of both agreed on before this race, about 23 to 25 laps. Single file around the bottom tells us that they're about to happen.
Yeah, we saw Rainwater and Mitten make sure that they got down into line together, so I'm sure that they are coming. Only two trapped on the outside right now.
Well, Pansola got rooted up by Rod Mitten, so hopefully John wasn't planning on pitting this time. And he might be able to get back in the line. Rod Mitten will be pitting this time. So here we go. No Rainwater coming as well. There's Justin Michael. Here's the race leader, Grant.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Turheimer nearly went wrong for him, but he was able to corral it. It looked like Voiles may have gotten off into the grass. Hopefully no penalties coming his way. It looked like he was nearly 2 tires in the grass, so might have been able to keep it on the pavement.
So that puts Johnny Hamby in control of the field. Brad Slagle says he's pitting this time.
I'm sure probably the rest of this group is going to be coming here.
You would think. We'll see if anybody elects to roll the dice, though.
Oh, there are a few.
All right.
4
Hamby
drivers.
stays out.
Yeah, 4 drivers staying out. Hamby, Milfelt, Charlie Widener, and Heath Smith. They're going to go another.
And those 4, the Highline Racing team, the top team from our mock race last week. Of course, with Heath Smith picking up that win.
And it looked like in the pit stop, Christopher Howell had a problem. I think got loose. Looked like he may have gotten into the wall. It was hard to tell. We got there a little bit late. But certainly not an optimal pit stop for him. We'll see how he shakes out here.
And here comes Highline. Boy, Johnny Hamby going for it. Oh, now
Whoa.
Mike Milfelt with a big lock up there. Everybody clean. No black flags. Only black flag from that pit cycle was Matt Burkhardt, who was 6 laps down.
All right, let's see how things are going to shake out here. Justin Michael at the front of the group that will be coming to take away the first few spots from Highline.
Wesley Whitfield, who was in the 07 running in the top 10, is also now disconnected from this race. It didn't look like he had a problem on the pit cycle, so not sure what's happening there. Micah with the lead. Highline Racing is in turns 1 and 2 right now on the apron, still trying to come up to speed. I'd imagine these guys should get out ahead. But will Highline be close enough to sniff the draft here?
Should be able to get the draft, I'm sure, but will not have the speed to keep Michael and company at bay.
Certainly not. They've yet to go around Milfeld and Hamby, who are going to stick to the bottom. And Milfeld backing right up to Johnny Hamby. Those two are going to be just fine. And so will Heath and Widener. And also Michael Arvan.
And part of the varying strategies, has to do with how they're playing out with the oval refresh as well. We've run multiple super speedway races at this point ourselves. We used to always stay out, and it seemed like we had a bit of an advantage. I didn't see anywhere where they had to slow down for some reason. I thought they'd be able to come out in front, but maybe with this oval refresh, things have changed.
Speaking of coming out up front, look at this push on the top side. All 3 teammates have gotten together here. Mitten pushing Rainwater with help from Rodolasso. Prestige Worldwide.
And Will Kirk had to do an airport run, but wanted to get himself up to the front to lead a lap before he had to go and accomplish just that. So accomplished the lap lead and now looking to
Whoa! That was almost huge. That was so close to being a field ender.
There's been 4 or 5, maybe even 6 of those up to this point.
With how loose this truck is, I can't believe that Noah saved that. Rod keeps taking these little swipes, though, trying to push Noah clear. One of these times there won't be a save, no matter who it is pushing who.
Well, this front pack has thinned out a little bit after the green flag pit stops.
Certainly.
So, might be able to go a little bit longer on the green flag runs. Fewer trucks up here in the front might give each other a little bit more room. Haven't seen it yet, but it's possible.
So this is the top 11 plus Michael Van that are all together here. It's about 9 seconds back to Willie Evernham in 12th in the second pack. So this top 11 is Michael, Grant, Rainwater, Hayes, Mitten, Turheimer, Rodolasso, Milfelt, Hamby, and Smith, and Widener.
And this second group just doesn't seem to be very together. I see a lot of zigging and zagging out of a lot of these drivers. Of course, much of that has to do with the setup that we've talked about.
Yeah, even with this front group all side by side here, they are hemorrhaging time. I mean, that gap has exploded from 8 to 10 seconds, even in the last couple of laps, as Noah Rainwater are going to move down to the bottom, leave his teammates out up top. But Rainwater in control of the field. As I have a feeling that'll be what they're saying at Daytona on Sunday afternoon as well.
Yes, unfortunately, I think that might be the case. Nothing like a Monday Daytona 500.
Yeah, that's where all the good ones are. But a 2-truck tandem here on the top side, still making it work. And now Mike Milfeld going to come and join the party.
Yeah, big swing.
I think we just had a big save, Matt. Somebody is spinning down the backstretch. Might have been Ryan McRoberts. But no caution. It was Ryan McRoberts.
Well, Tommy, we talked about how things weren't together in that second group. There basically isn't a second group any longer.
Yeah, so McRoberts was second in line on the top side, got a punt from behind. Everybody scrambled for McRoberts. I mean, that was one of the more remarkable saves I think I've ever seen. That was an incredible job not to bend that truck multiple times over. But unfortunately, yeah, that has killed the second group if it wasn't already dead.
So all of those drivers hoping that the front of the field wads them up here pretty quickly. And with 4 rows of 2 wide, we are heading closer towards it.
We mentioned Milfeld jumping to the top. Johnny Hamby now is behind the 155. The stop line was doing good without numbers. Now that they've got the numbers, might see a little bit more of what we saw at Atlanta on Tuesday night. Top line pushing one out at a time, just like this. Ryan Minton going to jump to the bottom. This might prompt now the 199 of Rob Haynes to move to the top, or Heath Smith going to jump up to the top here. And Charlie Widener, so we are split pretty evenly up front. 5 and 5. 6 and... I can't count.
Tommy, we're heading towards the halfway point. We're past that first round of green flag pit stops. I think this is as good of a time as ever to have our first crank it up of the season for CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Milfelt and Rodolasso now out to the front of the field.
Things got a bit jumbled up after Mike Milfelt made his way down. They're forming back up here. Again, we just get this carousel effect over and over again. It makes for entertaining racing, that's for sure. New leader every couple of laps.
Yeah, and somebody who's gotten shuffled way farther back than I think has been all race is Justin Michael. Only sits in 9th right now, but has been sitting in about 2nd through 5th the entire race so far.
Big shot there from Rodman up to Matt Rodolasso, and that gets the 49 on the back foot. Johnny Hamby coming with a run again on the outside. Hamby's big focus of 2023 was to get some oval racing laps under his belt in a real competitive sense. Had some pretty decent oval runs to go with his 3 runner-up finishes on the road courses. Long season, healthy mix of ovals and road courses. And, I don't know. I think Johnny Hamby could be one to watch here to take a top 5 in the points, if not maybe a little better.
Well, anybody in this front group has to be feeling pretty good about their chances right now. They just have to keep each other around to be able to keep themselves around here to the end of the race. Block there from Rodolasso, trying to get a push from Mitten. Whew, a little bit out of shape there. Mitten has been about as good of a pusher as anybody could ask for so far tonight. And now coming up on some traffic, this is going to make things interesting.
This is Haveron, Schulte, and Greg Mall, and Kerry Cleaver.
Milfelt didn't even try to go to the middle to get around these lap cars.
That was good heads-up driving there by Rodolasso. He set the pick perfectly. And will reap the rewards. Unfortunately, the early strat here for Greg Mall to sit back and stay out of trouble is going to pin him 1 lap down. But again, if the caution were to come out, he and Kerry Cleaver and Michael R. Van will be battling for that lucky dog in this pack.
Yeah, and those trucks, no damage to any of them, really. This is really going to put a wrinkle in this front pack because it's going to be littered now between lead lap trucks and not lead lap trucks.
Well, we talked about Ryan McRoberts breaking up that second line after getting tagged. He does have a little bit of damage, but I would imagine it is not bad enough for him to get kicked out of this group here. So numbers back in the front pack, but still only 11 drivers on the lead lap. #12 is Christopher Howell, and he's got a pack of 4, and he is 17 seconds behind the leaders. So it's Rodolasso on the bottom, Hamby on the top. They are each being assisted by teammates. It's Highline on the high line, and Prestige Worldwide on the bottom for the first 3 trucks. Hamby going to leave the team and go down to the bottom. Gets a shot for his efforts from Radalasso. Chris Voiles coming up in front of the leaders here now as well.
And with these lap trucks coming into the fold, this lead pack just keeps getting larger. Heath Smith just about made contact with Voiles there.
And a big pack like this, it makes the complexity up front here really weird. Because you have a bunch of drivers that are not in it for the win at this moment, but they're fighting for other things. I don't know. It brings the intensity up. Maybe brings some frustration up as well for the lead lap drivers.
I mean, you have Greg Mall here in the 7. He would be the lucky dog, as here come pit stops a little bit earlier than expected.
I was going to say, I was going to queue that up in another few laps or so. Mall, Schulte, Cleaver, Michael, Haynes, Terheimer, and Burkhardt. So a couple of lead lap drivers as we're getting shuffled out 3 wide here.
Now, it looked like everybody got in cleanly there, but it does make a little bit of sense that, I mean, this is an open window. They know they're going to have to pit one more time after this. I thought they would maybe go a little bit farther so they would have extra for an overtime. Not really sure, but I don't know. Here we go.
Rob Haynes, pit road exit violation. So the 199, after being in the front pack here, going to have to come back down pit road. Nobody down pit road this time. We've seen Bandit Motorsports play this game before, not just here in Max v CNC Home Design's Truck Series competition, but over on our former flagship Truck Series programming here on Turn 200, Truck 200. They nearly ran away with the Daytona race. With just 3 of them, until they imploded.
They did end up wrecking each other.
Yes.
Going to try to make better on that here tonight. But I can see it. Nobody down pit road again this time around. And on that first round of pit stops, we did see the folks that came in earlier did end up reaping the benefits. So those Bandit Motorsports folks are looking to maybe do that and make it work even a little bit better for them here.
So there are team standings to be watching for this season, as well as the driver standings. That's a new feature for 2024. And Bandit Motorsports has to be divvied up similar to the Bullet Club, if you know what that is. So I think 3 Bandit Motorsports squads going to be all fighting each other. No pit stops, but a big move there to the outside. The Highline drivers going for it on the top. Heath Smith is clear. Widener and Millfield digging hard here on the top side now as well.
Surprised to see no pit stops with trucks now going too wide. It's going to pull them back a little bit, or should anyways, in theory. Thought maybe once that group went to the outside, those folks on the bottom would say, all right, we're coming. Did not happen.
Note, something has happened to Wally Terheimer. No caution, but he has a meatball flag.
I can't imagine what would have happened. He's keeping pace with Greg Mall.
One truck going to bail out of the lead pack here. It's Chris Voiles. And to note, Rob Haynes came down pit road with Matt Burkhardt. Burkhardt going to sack bunt, being multiple laps down to make sure that Rob Haynes has a dance partner here. I mean, this is a wild strategy race.
Terheimer did have a bit of damage to the right side of the truck, but certainly didn't look meatball worthy, so not sure what's happening there, but you are correct. very wild as far as strategy goes. These folks are going to have to come in here in the next lap or two, I believe.
I think Prestige Worldwide is pitting this time if Noah Rainwater just called out over the radio. Yep, here they come. Highline going to stay out. They were the last pitters last time as well. Oh, Rodolasso sailing it, and I think he just made it.
Terheimer and Evernham are back down pit road, so certainly something happened there.
Boy, how's this one going to shake out?
I have no idea.
This has been a crazy opening race without any crashes so far. Everybody knock on wood. Waiting the final pit stops here for the second round. John Pansilla going to pit by himself.
Highline's going to stay out for another one. This didn't work out for them last time around, so a little bit surprised to see them going for it again.
It was a rather quick meatball clear for Wally Terheimer. He's still going to fall at least one lap down, possibly multiple.
Here comes Hal Slagle and Montenball.
And Highline Racing, the team, getting ready to exit turn 4. Will they be pulling off this time? Here they come. They fan out. Hamby trying to get it woed up. They do a nice job. No black flags in this group.
And they bring along McRoberts and Heveron with them.
And two drivers that are not on the lead lap, but in the numbers game, everybody is welcome to join in.
Justin Michael just now getting into turn 3. Maybe it's worked out a little bit better for Highline this time around. We'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, not sure what effect Wally Terheimer and whatever happened there had on Justin Michael's group, but we're about to find out if it had any at all. But Terheimer was in that pack. Matt Burkhart going to pit for a third time.
Certainly a better getaway for Highline this time, but will they be able to get up to speed?
The back markers of the group have just been ingested, as Mike Joy said earlier tonight. That is, all things considered, that was a success, I would say. Still coming up with a head of steam here, but they should be in control of the field. Prestige Worldwide and Justin Michael all come out together. As well as Charles Grant. Willie Evernham is in this mix as well, but he is one lap down. Widener leading on the bottom. Rodolasso back to it on the top. And there goes Rodolasso to the bottom.
Whoa.
Woo!
Big wiggles out of the bottom line there.
I mean, I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. This is a good group. They're being aggressive, and it is showing.
On board right now with Rainwater. They're trying to get something moving on the top side here.
Oh, boy.
Whoa.
That was almost huge again.
Yeah, Rainwater had to check up because Mitten is pushing the ever-living daylights.
That's Grant up front.
Just just about got Grant completely sideways. Rainwater had to check up. And Rainwater has now backed off a little bit.
I can imagine. Can't say that I blame him. Two unsponsored trucks leading the way here.
Justin Michael has also backed off the pack a little bit. Now, well into the back half of the race. Things are going to start heating up, lap by lap, tightening up. You're going to be able to feel the tension.
I mean, let's set the scene here. We started this race with 29 drivers. We're down to, I think, 24 running without an incident. And 9 drivers in the lead pack, 12 on the lead lap. I mean, just a wild race without much in the way of carnage yet.
Yeah, it's been certainly a different kind of wild than we're used to seeing around Daytona here. For real-life situations and just pure strategy situations, had quite a few drivers just back off the pack from the get-go of the race, thinking that there was surely an incident on the way, and a big one at that, because the truck has been so ill-handling, and it has never come. So those drivers are now a lap plus down.
So we think lap 58 is what we're shooting for here if the caution were to come out. If it came out after lap 58, I would say we're probably good to make it to the end of regulation on one more stop. But that begs the question here, with a lot of drivers pitting between laps 44 and 47. What are we looking at here for a final green flag pit stop? Should it shake out that way?
Well, I mean, there's basically two schools of thought. I don't think you're going to see anybody just going to do it right in the middle. You're either going to see people start coming down around lap 59, 60. They want to have a little extra fuel in the tank for a possible overtime finish. And then on the flip side, we've seen the Highline guys, they have stayed out as long as possible, quite literally. So I don't see them abandoning that situation. It worked for them the last time around. So I can see them sticking with that. But the Bandit Motorsports crew have had the opposite end of the spectrum for strategies. So I think you're going to see as early as possible or as late as possible, probably nothing in between.
So there is a second pack, and they are doing their best to track down the leaders. Christopher Howell is at the front of this pack. Rob Haynes is in this pack, and he just set the purple lap of the session. So they are pushing pretty hard here. Is it going to be enough? I don't think so. They're 20 seconds behind.
By the way, good to hear from Martha Terheimer. I don't think we've mentioned her in the chat yet. It's good to see old faces and old names back in the Turn 200 chat after a long stint away here for the Max Velo crew.
Well, we're going to be seeing a lot of the Thursday night crew here. If you don't know, we're mirroring the Cup schedule, basically, with a few exceptions. A few swaps here and there.
But the same amount of races.
But yeah, 36 races with the playoffs. I mean, a wild 2024 ahead here on Thursday nights with the Maximum Velocity CNC Home Designs Truck Series. I'm happy to have everybody along and back with us for the ride or with us for the first time. Welcome one and all. We are a couple laps from the pit window being open. Getting skeptical of people taking the number right on. But strategy has been all over the board tonight, so who knows?
I am curious to see if Grant and others decide to go down pit road if everybody dives in together.
Now, as far as we know, because again, Charles Grant, new to the series, no idea who his affiliations are. We're just going to assume that he is unaffiliated. But he has been one of the dominant drivers tonight. So you would have to imagine he's been noticing the people that have been around him and is trying to pick off one of their strats to take the win.
Well, for some intel, he's in one of the open race rooms on the Discord by himself. Nobody else in there. So unless he's been talking in the racing channel chat with others in the sim, seemingly really doesn't have any idea who he can work with, who he can't. So it's interesting position for him to be out front because everybody could just end up leaving him and he'd have to do a lap by himself, and that is not what you want around Daytona.
Well, here's my prediction. He's run a really nice race tonight. I would imagine he's going to be on the team by the time next week rolls around. That's just a guess, though. Or you know what? He might bring his own team here. Yeah, Charles Grant at the front of the field. Ron Alonso, Mitten, Widener, Hamby, Smith, Millfelt, Rainwater, Michael. The 9 lead lap drivers in this front pack. Christopher Howell in 10th, Brad Slagle in 11th, Matt Montalbot in 12th. And I mentioned they were making time. They are still making time. They've cut that gap from 20 seconds down to 15. So they are making good time all of a sudden. They've got their ducks in a row.
And this lead pack is all in a single file line as well. So they're working hard to be able to make up that time.
Yeah, that gap has come down pretty nicely.
Do they have enough time, though?
That is the $10 question.
All right. Pit window is well open now. Probably has been open for the last couple of laps, but you can see these drivers dive in at any time at this point. And here comes some farther down in the field.
All 4 of those drivers are not on the lead lap, so maybe one last swing for the fences here. Schulte, Haynes, Turheimer, and Voiles. All have had something or other happen this race. A couple of question marks next to those, but it's definitely something has happened to all of them. And here come more. Highline not running it out this time. That leaves Prestige Worldwide out at the front of the field with Charles Grant.
Here's a question. Do these other 4 drivers respond immediately?
I have the answer. Report from Matt Rodolasso says, okay, Charles Grant, we're pitting this time.
Wow, they're going to get checked up, though, with some of that traffic that had been down pit road the couple laps before. They might end up well behind the folks that just came down pit road.
Big send here from Rodolasso and Grant. And no black flags. We're all good.
Looks like everybody gets in there clean.
Willie Evernham pits with them as well. All right.
Here's the group that was trying to chase down the front runners. Christopher Howell will lead a lap.
And their times are still considerably better. I think they have, if they can keep that same energy, they have just enough time. But we'll see after the pit stops how everything gets formed back up. Grant wins the race off of pit road amongst the drivers that he pit with. Rainwater will drop back to Matt Rodolasso. And Mike Millfeld, Charlie Widener, Johnny Hamby. Boy, they are going to power past those 4.
Yeah, and those four are in jeopardy of potentially losing Hamby. I think they will. Oh, it's going to be close.
Justin Michael coming up behind them as well. Not quite close enough, though. Yeah, they're about a second behind. I'd say they're okay, but they need to stay on it.
Yeah, I mean, if they can stay grouped together with that hammer down the entire time, they will be fine. But they were a 1/10 and a half, 2/10 from losing.
Yeah.
Milfelt, Widener, and Hamby. That could have been detrimental.
It's still work to do, even for Charlie Widener. Widener not the leader right now. Again, Howell, Schlegel, Montebault, they are still out on the track for second and third. It's actually Michael Milfelt leading this group, not Charlie Widener. But regardless.
Here, though, you're getting when Grant, Rainwater, Radalasso, and Mitten get to Hamby. Will they take a run? Oh, Milfelt's going to move up to... Did he get moved to the top?
I'm not sure. It would not surprise me with how unsteady these
down
trucks
the
have
apron.
been.
Here comes a huge run from Grant and Company.
Yeah, whether that was intentional or not, it is definitely going to throw a wrench in their plans here and maybe bring Justin Michael back into the mix. Going to be close. As these two go, or this group rather, goes side by side, a second and a half behind Heath Smith and Company. But they're not really formed up right now to capitalize either. We talked about Howell maybe tracking this group down even through the pit cycle. Well, the lap times have been even the last 3 laps around. So the charge has stalled a little bit.
Michael is hoping that he can get to this group, and they have made a lot of time up in this last lap. The gap was about 2 seconds, now less than 1. Michael has made it to the front.
Yeah, Heath Smith was sort of side drafting them out of this battle, but as soon as they got Smith back in line, they have pulled right back up onto the scene, and here they are with a huge run. Michael right to it with help from Andrew Schultze, who again is multiple laps down, 4 to be exact. So he is not in it for the win. This is Grant pinned in the middle with no help, but he too has a run.
Grant trying to side draft as hard as he can there on the bottom line.
And Heath Smith is now back in the pack.
Haven't seen 3 wide all night. We get down underneath 15 laps to go, and here it is.
Busted out the greatest hits here at Daytona. 3 wide in the front pack in a caution-free race with 15 laps to go.
Remember, this pack is going to be scored third on back for right now. First through third still have to come down pit road.
And Howell, Schlegel, and Montebault back to being 3 to 4 tenths of
Whoa!
Oh boy, that was Radalasso that just got shoved out of line by his teammate Mitten. But again, the top 3 marginally faster now than this pack, but they still have a lot of time to make up to get themselves back into this pack after their pit stops. Howell says he's pitting this time, but I would imagine that will bring Schlegel and Montebault with him. And the rest of the drivers that are in that pack.
Here they come.
And here goes Michael looking for what hopefully will be the race lead. Was clear, elects not to take it. So Widener will pull back up underneath.
Unbelievable stuff from the Maximum Velocity CNC Home Designs Truck Series drivers here tonight. 80 laps on the docket. We've gone 68 without a caution. Will we have one by the time the checkers fly? Or by the time the white flag flies, I should say.
E. Smith to the bottom. So the whole squad is back together. But boy, they look as unsteady as ever.
Yeah,
and we're not even really pushing right now.
I don't know. Milfeld and Hamby really getting tight with each other, trying to push Widener along on the bottom.
Widener's looked wide to the top side.
Widener has looked a little unstable on multiple occasions. Michael with a pretty good run.
Not clearing. Ten laps to go. Oh, rainwater around! Oh my gosh, how is he still going?
I have no idea, but he is going to lose the pack big time here. He'll get shuffled back with Hal, Slagle, and Montembault here by the time it's over.
Mike Milfeld coming into pit. You not get enough fuel in?
Certainly possible. That's the only idea that I can come up with as well.
Oh, my.
Here comes Rob Mitten on the top side.
Oh, Prestige Worldwide down a number now. But still getting after it here up top. Hamby pushing Widener, Grant pushing Michael.
That's Rodolasso up top there with Mitten.
They've gained a couple of truck links here since they moved to the top side, and they don't look to be slowing down anytime soon. Looking for a big push here out of 4. And we'll be 3 wide for the lead.
Comes up Charlie Widener that time. Michael and Grant have been put together on multiple occasions in multiple different ways. Michael pushed Grant early on, then Michael cleared Grant, and Grant pushed Michael. And now that was in the first run. Now we get to the last run of the race, and here they are together again in the middle, trying to make this train work.
The front row starters stuck in the middle. Michael, the pole sitter. Looking to open things up, the ones across the board. Season opener here for 2024.
Mitten and Rodolasso hoping that somebody's going to take a chance on him. Looked like Craig Mall nearly got shuffled out of the middle there.
Well, Grant is the odd one out here. He's the only driver without a teammate in this pack. Shilton, Mall, and Cleaver, all teammates with Justin Michael, and all a lap down or more. So they're all in line behind the horse that they're backing.
And Mitten got up to Michael there for just a brief moment, but around turns 3 and 4, lost it.
It's tough in the mental department to make this top line work for this long, especially with only two of you.
Yeah, you have to stay connected almost all the way around the racetrack, which means you're nearly pushing in the corners, which a lot of times ends up with disaster. Some lap traffic coming up as well here, and maybe a lap or two.
Disaster not going to be hard to come by here. We are right on the edge. Not a lap or two. How about right now? Pansoli going to stay on the top line. Oh! And I think some netcode contact with Rod Alasso pulls him off of Rod Mitten. I don't think they actually made contact, but definitely some slowdown registered there. That breaks up the top line. We're back to 2x2, at least until Rod Alasso can get his bearings.
Yeah, Mitten nearly pushed Greg Mall down to the bottom line. Michael nearly clear of Widener.
There's going to be a point where Michael is going to take that, whether he's clear or not. And here we go. Prestige Worldwide back to the high side. Big run here for Mitten. 4 laps to go.
And Mitten's gotten the nose out in front of Michael. Might be able to pull that line back just a bit, getting that far up in front.
Oh, Matt was pushing so hard there. Michael with a big shot. Still going to stick to the middle. Widener fighting back on the bottom. 3 to go at the line.
And that time around would have been Mitten in second. They are making that line work right now. Oh, big wiggle there for just about everybody.
More lap traffic ahead. More big shots. Big push here for Hamby.
Out of a cannon. Gets Widener way out in front.
Mike Milfelt going to drop out of line. So will Van. The track stays clear. 2 to go. 5 miles potentially from the checkers here and going flag to flag. What a race it's been and what a finish it's shaping up to be.
Only a half a lap more and it will be official.
Michael gets good shots down the backstretch. Oh, a bit of discombobulation on the bottom. Hamby not able to pick up to Widener. When will Michael make the jump to the bottom? Or will he? Can we make it back to the stripe? It's going to go flag to flag, green to checkers, 2.5 miles to see if we can bring it home clean.
Michael seemingly has the advantage with the teammates lined up behind the middle lane, but there has been great pushing from the bottom and the top side.
Hamby unrelenting. He is pushing the 95 very, very hard down the backstretch. Michael and Widener, nose to nose, door to door, wheel to wheel. They're all going to wreck! Everybody's around! Who's going to cross the stripe? I think maybe Heath Smith? Heath Smith! Heath Smith! Unbelievable! Heath Smith was over the Daytona logo when he crossed the line. Heath Smith is going to win the season opener!
Heath Smith dirt tracks it across the line to take the season opener at Daytona.
That was every single truck in the lead pack, lead lap or not, just crashed. And Heath Smith completely backwards across the grass. Immediately just whips it into donuts at the end of pit road. That was one of the damnedest things we have ever seen.
That was
unbelievable.
That was unbelievable.
Oh, God. We're going back to the iRacing top 10.
This has been the wildest Daytona race I have ever seen. It had already been one of the strangest, and then we have that finish. I mean, come on.
What in the name of God has just happened here at Daytona?
There's only one thing Heath Smith knows, is that he is the race winner and gets to burn it down.
Wow. Well, I mean, he just did this, but we'll do it again on purpose this time. So, interesting how we're going to actually score this finish here. Because several drivers spun down pit road, obviously not under their own control, but will pick up one-lap penalties as a result. I think most notably Rod Benton and Charles Grant. I think they were actually on the podium. We'll have to take a look at this in the replay here. I think they actually finished on the podium. I don't think there's any question, though, that Heath Smith is the race winner here.
Alrighty, folks. Here's the look at your replay.
Take it away.
Coming out of turn 4. Michael in the middle, Widener on the bottom, and Mitten on the top. Everybody trying to squeeze for everything they have. And Widener gets pushed up the racetrack just a bit right into Justin Michael, and everybody scrambles to try and find some room. And guess what? Nobody finds it. Heath Smith is in about 8th place when all of this occurs, but everybody is either sideways or spinning down into the inside wall. Smith just fishtails the absolute least, nearly gets taken out by Rod Alasso, but ends up coming home with the victory, literally across the Daytona logo. I mean, that is unbelievable. Let's check it out again. I mean, we're gonna go on board with Smith here because he was not in a position to really win this race. He's third in line on the bottom here. Gets hit by multiple drivers, but just keeps himself from going sideways when everybody else was. That was just crazy. I mean, he just stayed foot in the gas the entire time, never let up. We could literally watch this replay 20 times and see something different. That is the damnedest thing I've ever seen.
I think so. So, again, this is going to complicate podium interviews a bit. Because I think Rod Minton finishes second and Charles Grant finishes third. Unfortunately, they're scored in 11th and 12th because they went down pit road.
Yeah, both of them crossed the pit road entrance line. And you saw a truck go through before Grant and Mitten, but that was Kerry Cleaver who was a lap down.
Yes.
So I think you're right. From my timing and scoring that doesn't have any penalties involved, it's Mitten in second, Grant in third, both from nearly hitting the inside wall down by pit road, sliding across the grass up to the racetrack yet again.
I mean, that might have been a photo finish between those two. I mean, that looked to be a few thousandths of a second as they were both coming to a stop at the finish line. I mean, wow. So Yeah, I'm not sure how we do this. If we interview the actual podium and then the two fake podium finishers as well, I'm not 100% sure. We might just do 5 interviews here. We'll see. I don't know. Do you want to keep looking at this, or should we just roll into the full finishing rundown?
We can do whatever you want because I'm finding all sorts of great stuff with this.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Your race winner, Heath Smith, literally splits the uprights between Grant and Mitten as they're sliding across the grass. He doesn't split them, but he comes right in front of them. I can't stop watching. That is literally the wildest thing I've ever seen.
All right. We could be here all night. Let's roll into it here. Full finishing rundown. We think adjustments are coming. Not 100% sure. There's not a precedent for this. So this is the unofficial results in true NASCAR fashion. Smith, Michael, Rodolasso, the podium. Smith is the winner for sure. Expecting Grant and Rod Mitten to be placed back onto the podium, but tentatively they were scored outside the top 10 with a 1-lap penalty. Charlie Widener in 4th, Johnny Hamby 5th, Christopher Howell in 6th, Matthew Montalbot in 7th, Noah Rainwater, and Brad Slagle then the 9/11 lead lap finishers. Then Kerry Cleaver will finish in P10 or P12. For sure, no changes after this point. Greg Mall, Michael Milfelt, Rob Haynes through 16th. Wally Turheimer and Chris Voiles, Ryan McRoberts, John Pansilla, and Michael Van through 20th. Andrew Schultz at 21st. And then DNFs for Willie Evernham at 22nd, Doug Heveron, Matt Burkhardt, Wesley Whitfield, James Lehman, Will Kirk, Robert Gray, and Bill Paradise through 29th. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pull in a third-place finisher.
Times and I got hit. I crossed the line.
Matt Rodolasso, you're in booth 200, partner. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, bud. How you doing?
Well, it was an interesting night to say the least. Even before the last lap happened, this was a crazy race with a lot of strange things happening all throughout it. But you and the rest of the team were mainstays up front.
Yeah, no, we were in the lead pack. I think the whole race. I think we had to catch them after one of those pit stops once, but we were up front, and that's kind of where we wanted to be, and just try to lead as much as we could. Kind of what we wanted to do, but we tried at the end. Me and Rod up on the high side. I think we were the only two up there for like the last 10 laps. I was just trying to knock the heck out of them, but just needed a third car with us.
Yeah, that was a lot of the team dynamics there in the front pack late. We're sort of stacked against you, looking for somebody to jump up to the high line and struggling to find anybody that was going to do it. But I mean, you two made it work pretty well, even with just you two up top.
Yeah, we did. It kind of yo-yoed. We would get to the front, to the front line, and then we'd fall back a little bit, and then we'd catch the draft from the bottom two lines since we were back 3 cars, and we'd get another run, and we just couldn't. I think we got close to clearing the middle lane, or Rod did at least once or twice, and I told him, man, if you get clear, just go, just leave me, and just go get it. But just real close, but not quite.
Matt, what do you have for Matt?
Well, as crazy as a finish it was also a crazy beginning and middle of the race. Talk about pit strategy, which seemed to be all over the place tonight to even put yourself in a position here at the end.
Yeah, I don't know what everybody else did. I think there was one group that stayed out longer on the first 2 runs by a few laps, but we kind of we knew we were going to pit the 3 times. We just didn't want to lose too much ground to the leaders or anybody else we were running around. The only time we really kind of made a quick decision or pitted earlier than we kind of wanted to was on that last cycle. Because I think everybody else around us 3, me, Rod, and Noah, pitted, and then it was just us out there. I think we were like, well, we gotta come down. We're gonna stay out a few more laps just in case we did get green white checkers at the end, just to kind of save a little bit in the bank for us. But other than that, that was it. We just kind of ran our game plan and didn't really worry about anybody else until that last stop too much.
And have you gotten any clarification from anybody? I don't know if somebody popped in your team channel or not to see if these results were going to be official or if they were going to move Rod maybe back onto the podium and Charles as well, since they picked up their penalties there.
Yeah, no, nobody said anything to me. So I don't know if they even looked at it or anything. But I know Rod went through pit road, so he got the black flag for speed in there. I'm not sure who else got black flag, but I think Rod finished second. And I said he was a lap down, so that kind of stinks. It's a bit of a bummer, but yeah, still had fun doing it though.
Well, regardless, you're either going to finish third, fourth, or fifth here. But I would imagine, I mean, a lot of success came your way in the season opener last year as well. So the season opener is the place to be for you once again here. Do you have anybody you want to shout out or thank here?
Thank you guys for doing the broadcast and everyone that's involved in the league. James and Johnny, Justin, and everybody, and thank my teammates. Rod and Noah tonight for having some fun, and that's about it. But yeah, thanks again for putting it all on.
Absolutely, partner. Congrats on the good result, no matter what it ends up being, and hopefully we'll talk to you again here soon.
Sounds good, man. Take it easy.
All right, gonna go in search of Justin Michael, and maybe he will be able to clear some of this up as well. And maybe this is a problem that we're just creating for ourselves. I would imagine that. Well, I don't know. Let's find out. Justin Michael, it's Booth 200. You got a copy.
Sorry, wrong button. Yes, sir.
All righty, how we doing?
Good.
Well, congrats on a top 5 run, no matter what. Before we get into the minutia of the finish there, was just curious if we could have some clarification on the black flags at the end of the race to see if these results are official or not.
I'm not sure yet. We'll post something in Discord and on Facebook later. We're gonna discuss that. I don't know what we're gonna do yet. But I believe if we clear them, I'll have 4th. If we leave them be, I'll have 2nd. The winner is still the same.
So yeah, Heath wins no matter what. I mean that. Max V always finds a way to take it to a new level. We all kind of crashed across the finish line at Talladega last season. Wow, that was just an unbelievable spectacle. And hopefully it doesn't take away from your race too much here tonight. Obviously, you come out swinging with the pole. You're up front all night long. You dictate the pit strategies very well. I mean, this is a very Justin Michael kind of night, save for the chaos and carnage there on the final lap.
I tell you, we got a really good group of guys here. I mean, there's not many places you can run 3 wide, 4 rows deep, and not wreck. I know we had a little issue with the, coming to the checker flag, but anybody's going to have that trying to go for the win. But you can't really ask for much better. So we definitely, I think we got a real good group of guys, and hopefully we can keep them all season. Talladega should be fun because it's even wider, so maybe we can even get 4 wide in there for a few laps, and make it a really good show for you guys up there.
It was a great show here tonight, partner. That is for sure. Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, certainly a great show. Congrats on the good finish. And talk to me a little bit about working with Charles Grant throughout the night. You and him got put together, I don't think by choice, quite a bit tonight. And we're not familiar with him. Wasn't sure if you were either and how it was working with him throughout the night.
I think if I remember it, he showed up in a recruitment race 2-3 weeks ago, and we sent him an invite, and he ended up joining. And he's got a good I rating. He runs pretty clean from what we can tell, and so that's the kind of guys that we're looking for, good competitive guys. And no, it was just kind of chance that we hooked up together. And when I got in the middle there leading, I wasn't coming off of that middle lane because that's the best lane to be in, and he just happened to be there in second. I think if he would have tried to go high on me, which I fully expected him to, if he could get clear. I had Andrew waiting there behind, saving his engine temps so he could push me to the finish.
And that's what the other thing I was going to say as well. Obviously, with Charles behind you, working with you for most of the race, but it seems like most of your teammates had something happen tonight, whether in their control, out of their control, outside of the sim. A strange night for the comers and goers, but it did sort of help you out in the end because you have a bunch of your teammates and drivers that you're normally battling with the final spots for, but they're helping pushing you to a good result instead.
Yeah, definitely. The Bandit team didn't have the best night tonight, and I know Andrew, Greg, Carey, they were helping me out there at the end, but they were all a lap down. but they were just trying to get me a good finish or maybe even a win. We do that. So if one of us is out of contention, we're gonna try to help the other guys win. But if we're all on the same lap and we're all fighting for it, we throw that out the window. We're gonna go for it.
Well, it's either a second or a fourth. Either way, a pretty good way to come out of the gate here in the season opener. So congratulations to you, and shout-outs for you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I tell you what, I probably won't be involved in that conversation because that affects my finishing position, a decent amount. So I'll probably stay out of that conversation. I'll let them handle it.
Perfectly understandable.
But no, everybody out there watching, I mean, that was a really good show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And, Scott Patton, even though he's not here, he's somewhere in a cruise ship in the Atlantic. I don't know if he's streaming or not. I don't even know if he gets internet service wherever he's at, but we always appreciate him painting the cars for us, or trucks, sorry, and from Patented Paint. So definitely check him out. And CNC Home Care, check them out. Kerry, he builds houses and designs houses, so definitely check him out down there. Turn 200, always a great show. Definitely one of the top-notch broadcasters out there.
Well, thank you, partner. Congrats on the good run here. And, I know we'll be talking to you again.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
Well, a lot of disputedness in this finishing order, but the one thing that is undisputed after all the chaos and carnage on the final lap is that we've got back-to-back visits for the one truck to victory lane. This time, it's a points-paying victory for Heath Smith. It has not been very long since we talked to you, partner, so welcome back to Booth 200, and congratulations on going back-to-back here.
Who would have ever thought that? That's crazy, man.
Well, I mean, even the circumstances of the night aside, it's impressive with this group to go back-to-back at any two tracks. But then you throw this finish in a race that was caution-free in the mix here, and the fact that you took the checkers going across the Daytona logo in the infield, and it just makes it that much more unbelievable, really.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was pretty much committed to pushing Johnny and Charlie there, and when everything happened and the trucks parted, man, just crossed the checkered and we won Daytona, baby.
I mean, you're helping the team there, but before that happens, what's the expectation? A wreck and maybe pick up a couple of spots, or you're content to finish where you are, knowing that there's not a whole lot of lead lap trucks up there?
Well, yeah, I mean, there was nowhere for me to go. I was kind of pinned to the inside. It was 3 wide, so I was just trying to stay in line and make sure the bottom had some momentum, and hopefully to push Charlie out in front of Justin there at the end. I mean, that I was pretty much stuck where I was going to be. I was going to end up probably 5th, maybe 4th, 5th, 6th. I don't know. So just pretty much committed to who was in front of me and just try to stay in a straight line and get a good push on the bottom.
Matt, what do you got for the race winner?
Well, congrats on probably the most memorable win we've had so far in channel history. When you're coming there out of 4, is there anything that you can do other than press the hammer down and send up a prayer?
No, that was pretty much it. I was trying to let Johnny get to Charlie's bumper, and I was going to try to get to him and try to do a little 3-truck push there. And whatever happened, I haven't even looked back to see what happened. That I was just kind of in awe, really. I mean, that was crazy.
Yeah. Never seen anything like that before. And you get to be the one that came out on top of all of it.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. That's 2 weeks in a row. Last week was a little different than this week, but I'll take them however I can get them against this group of guys. I'm at super speedway, road course, short track, intermediate, whatever you want to do. This group is just amazing. I mean, they're so skilled and talented at what they do, and I know tonight I'll chalk it up as a good win, but kind of just luck, and I'll take the luck, and we'll roll on from there and look forward to next week.
Well, you got to be there to capitalize, partner. Anybody else you want to shout out or say hi to?
Yeah, first of all, I forgot to mention this. I got to thank Greg Mall because, again, I had internet problems. I kind of lost the draft, and Greg kind of picked me up and pushed me back up to the front. So number one person tonight is Greg because he allowed me. He kind of helped me catch back up to the little front group there, So he kept me in the race. And then, of course, I got to thank Kerry Cleaver at CNC Home Designs for sponsoring the league this year, and James Lehman for kind of getting this Max V back going, all the admins for Max V. And then another big one, Scott Patton. I got him to get all the green off my truck because superstition in racing says green is bad luck. So Patton and Paints, they took care of me there and turned it all black and white, no green on it. So it's 2 for 2 now, and looking good. And then also I got to thank the Highline Racing team, Johnny, Charlie, Mike. We've been working really, really good together here the last couple months. So I'm really looking forward to what's to come the rest of the season. And then of course, Tommy and Matt, Turn 200, y'all doing an absolutely amazing job. I look forward to watching the broadcast back every week. It's just amazing what you do.
Well, thank you, partner. We appreciate it, and congrats on getting the top marks here tonight for the season opener. And maybe we could go 3 in a row at Atlanta next week. What do you say?
Man, we're gonna try our best. I'm looking forward to it.
All righty, go party hard, partner.
Will do. Thank you.
Matt, before I forget, before we go any further, I forgot about Layman's Mega Money Mania.
You're right.
What position did we pick?
I forgot about it all as well. Well, the number was picked because the streak has ended for 6 front row starting in a row for Alex Bowman in the Daytona 500. He was going for 7 and didn't get it, so the number was 6.
And that P6 finisher we don't think is going to change. I don't think it's going to change. Christopher Howell will have that spot, right? No,
I'm showing Charlie Widener on what I got, but
well, yeah, it would be Widener. God, that just makes it that much more difficult, huh?
It's gonna go to somebody.
It will either be Widener or Howell, depending on if Mitten and Grant get their positions back because they fell below the P6 finisher. So, yeah, a lot up in the air as we go off air tonight. Some interesting developments, I'm sure, will be on the way while we're not on air. And again, Matt and I are not admins in this league. We have no idea what the process is going to be. Justin Michael already has said that he's removing himself from the discussion. So it's up to the admin squad here to determine how the finishing order is actually going to look here out of Daytona. Again, it only affects 2 trucks, but those trucks did cross the line in 2nd and 3rd. And I will say they were obviously not under control of their trucks. They didn't deliberately go down pit road at full tilt or anything. They were crashing across the line just like everybody else was. So,
certainly.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see what the points look like heading into Atlanta next week, and what the finishing order out of Daytona actually looks like when we are back here in 7 days' time for another super speedway. Where things can get just as wild and crazy as they were tonight. Matt, we'll leave you to it to say your closing remarks and thank who we got to thank here, and then we'll roll on to our usual closing docket.
Yeah, shout out to Martha Turheimer, Will Kirk, Lance Ackerson cheering on Wally, and then Shelly Mall cheering on Greg as well. Thank you guys for tuning in and chatting with us. It's always a treat to have you guys in the chat during the race. And anybody else that was watching here tonight, I'm sure that you enjoyed the finish, and hopefully you enjoyed the rest of the race as well. Unbelievable stuff coming here from the Maximum Velocity crew with the CNC Home Designs Truck Series. It's going to be a wild season, and we would like you to be here every Thursday night for the foreseeable future. 37 races, including the All-Star race. We'll have all the action for you here throughout the year.
I mean, just as wild of a race. We've had a finish similar to this, kind of. But I mean, it's just, I still don't know. I still don't know what to think about what just happened. That was absolute insanity. And we get to pack up and do it all again next Thursday night at a scaled-down version of Daytona. It's the Quad Oval at Atlanta Motor Speedway for round number 2 of the season. And it'll start around the same time, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time, here for the Maximum Velocity. It's Old Atlanta next week. Interesting. And you know what? I don't mind that swap one bit. So, okay, Old Atlanta next week. And still will present its own challenges and what have you that are very exciting. You talk about the oval refresh and managing the tires here at Daytona. I'd say amplify that by about 10 if we're running Atlanta 08 next week. So exciting stuff. Be sure that you're here right on time next Thursday night. Best way to do that is to hit subscribe on your way out of the channel here tonight. And to hit like on the stream as well. Every little bit helps us in our quest to get to 1K. We're knocking on the door of 600 here, which is pretty cool. So thank you very much to anybody that's subscribed here tonight. And thank you all for very much for hanging out with us. Between now and next Thursday, you can catch us on Sunday afternoon before the 500 for the Top Split Strength to Field Sunday broadcast for the Mission R Challenge. From Lime Rock with the West Bend Chicane. Lime Rock Park back on the channel on Sunday afternoon. No more racing on Monday nights, at least for the foreseeable future. Wink, wink. Tuesday night, the Venom Truck Series has their throwback night at Martinsville. And Wednesday night, the Daredevil Series is back, and they're back at Talladega. And, oh, God.
Yeah.
That's going to be one that you're going to want to be here for. And then Old Atlanta next week. That is what we've got on tap for you. So until we meet again, for everybody here with CNC Home Designs, for the Maximum Velocity Racing crew, for the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson, I'm Tommy Cook. Until we meet again, we say so long from Daytona, where Heath Smith is the winner in the wildest fashion imaginable to open up the 2024 season. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.